Atiku, former boy, Sowunmi, don't betray Atiku. He don't finally use Atiku to the ground.
Them is Peter. With due respect to everybody, if Peter Obi had not done as well as he did the last time, I'm not even sure they will even have the guts to be talking about that type of coalition now. I pity him that he has allowed himself to go and join the the same set of people that have been calling themselves candidates all the time. We have run this country between 1914 till date, when we got into democracy in 1999, on an idea. And that idea is what has kept our very unique country together. And that is that the country, we run it on a pendulum. The power goes to the north, we try to make it stay for 8 years for stability, and they complete their term. Then it swings to the south, and same way. We had a misfortune, Yar'Adua died, and naturally because we balanced power, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan became president. Ironically, these elements who did not even allow him to do his mandatory one more term, jumping here, jumping there, are the same ones now jumping around. And we are beginning to see a pattern which is not acceptable. And that pattern is that anytime a southerner is in charge of the country, there's always a convenient, noisy narrative that suggests that the country is not being properly run. But anytime a northerner is in charge of the country, they pretend as if they are ostriches. They have no opinion to put on the table. They have no suggestion to put on the table. And then they say, oh, let him just finish it. So then the question then be, are we running a country where the North is going to be bullying the South all the time? And if then that be the case, why should we agree to that? So I think that is the first reason why you can never find me in that kind of coalition. The second reason is that no human being, no matter how ambitious, should have no capacity to respect the principle of droning and rotation. Power, they will say power is in the north now for administrative convenience. You will say you are interested. They will bring the power back to the south. You will say you are interested. They will flip it back to the north. You will say you are interested. They will bring it back, come on. And then you'll ask, who has given you the right to be the perpetual destabilizer of parties? And then when you then leave that and drop it aside and bring the antecedent of those that are now suddenly repackaging themselves as new people in this country, your heart bleeds. You know what they did with themselves. Part of the challenges we have in this democracy, if we were to trace it to 1999, we can start by saying, number one, how did we even get to a point in this country where president and vice president don't enjoy automatic, harmonious, truthful relationship? It's down to them. Fighting, excessively ambitious, unwilling and unable to be loyal to their principle. Today, we are just beginning to manage ourselves out of that. If you ask, why do we have a concept of budget padding in the constituency project? I've gotten used to the fact that we all accuse them of what we cannot prove. The constituency project in National Assembly, it was also not supposed to be so. That's not the way democracy envisioned the legislator. It was because, again, they made it their habit to be bribing and bribing and bribing and bribing until the leader at that time, who is an expert in managing men and material, chose to put a legislative opportunity that is strategically able to give the legislator some element of freedom. Look at what that has caused. Now, if you now look at the issues where jumping from party to party has become easy, how do you explain to yourself that someone has been vice presidential candidate twice, presidential candidate twice, oh, my party is having problem, and then the next thing is that you want to sort of bring a coalition of people to come and say that we are going to now run a country of democracy. If you cannot do succession, if you cannot accept that in the course of nation building, there's time for you to pass the baton to younger ones, then I think it's the duty of younger ones to say, no, we will not allow you. If at all there's going to be an elderly person in the villa, then the one that is there now might as well finish his term, so we can then pack all of you away and begin to look for fresh, brilliant, super ideas to run our country. The country is not perfect. No country is ever perfect. But when you begin to look at the antecedents, what they've done, what is being done now, you know that no, these are upstarters. They will quarrel among themselves for everything. Everybody in that coalition wants to be president suddenly all at a time, and then they will not be able to agree. And in case they said they agreed, then they are going to have an imagination that they are going to be sharing power.
So Mr. Sean, if I understand, if I'm important,
I think they're joking.
Yeah, if I'm important at this point, you were the spokesperson of Atiku Abubakar in the last presidential election.
Officially in 2019, I supported him again in 2023 because the party picked him.
Yeah, 2019. I also know that you also led the formation of the APC in that sense. But it sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe clarify to all our audience if they are wrong in the way I'm perceiving. It looks like you're saying that the North is constantly leading an upset when they are not in power, and perhaps Atiku Abubakar is one of those at the vanguard. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. I make no apologies for that. The evidence are there. Listen, when Obasanjo was president here in 1999, between 1999 and 2023, we're not too young not to know that it was almost a similar kind of thing. Before we knew what was happening, some people were already talking about doing Sharia up north. The resultant is the aftermath of all the Boko Haram and the insurgency there. Before we knew what was happening, the speaker there would not even allow the president to breathe. And then what happened? They started to push back. They started to try to shop for people to support them. Before you knew it, the country was beginning to look like North and South. Obasanjo is a little bit more skilled, so he was better able to manage it. What about Jonathan? What exactly would be the crime that the president has committed if he says, let's go and keep education to the people of the North so that at least they can make rational decisions by themselves? And you start to scream, oh, there's Boko Haram, there's this, there's that. You start demarketing the country, you run up and down the street. And then General Buhari, a man I love, became president. They pretended as if all was well. The president was even ill for the first 2 years. We didn't hear any big argument that, oh, they must take power to the south or take it to the north. No, they didn't do that. Then now, you have another man that is president. He's barely 2 years on the seat. And you will not allow the country to stabilize. But I don't blame them. I blame him. Democracy is just a civilian mode of government. It does not necessarily translate to a weak or an unstable system of government.
Some people have said, what is Mr. Sowunmi really doing with the alternative? Is this
okay? Thank you. Let me quickly run into it.
Just a moment, sir. Is this another sophisticated economy of mobilization, or this is really an alternative idea to think Nigeria differently? So it's up to you, sir.
Thank you. When I've been here, when I looked at what we're doing with ourselves, and I saw the danger of what has become of our politics, reading the experiences of other nations, I began to say, are we not going to answer 4 questions? Question number 1, how do you have 83 million or thereabout collected PVC, and less than 25 million are getting ready to participate in the election, and you are installing a president with 8-point-something million votes? The next man got 6-point-something. The next man got 6.1. Where's everybody else on election day? We need to go and reinterrogate the democracy and speak to our people. Beg them that please don't give up on democracy. After all, we can see that democracy is failing with our neighbors. It's failed in Niger, it's failed in Guinea, and it might fail everywhere. Question number 2, Nigerians, are we going to allow these people who have not been able to create anything fantastic to divide us into tribal champions? Where if Yoruba is talking, you abuse him, and you look at the name is Igbo, and the Hausa is talking, don't be abusing yourself. If they destroyed their time, if this is the best they can do, why don't we go and talk to ourselves and plead with ourselves that we can be Nigerians? We can have the conversation with each other without making it tribal. Number 3, Nigerians, hey, are we going to now say that the only thing we consider to be democracy, which in my opinion is the system of mankind's gift to the not so rich? Because the rich can be monarchs, they can be everything, they can be bourgeois. But the poor have an opportunity in democracy. Why the hell would you be selling it? You have the numbers. Why can't you let us use our numbers to push the one we want forward? Why would you be doing vote buying and vote selling? And then question number 4. If everybody they bring as presidential candidate never satisfies you, you'll be angry with them while they're in charge. When they leave, you start wanting them back. I've heard people tell me that they even prefer that you bring Buhari back. But this was the Buhari that you didn't like while he was there. They've said the same thing about Jonathan. The cry, I go around the country, I've gone to all the zones, I administer questionnaires with people, we go to the stakeholders. A great number of them are even telling me that, hey, why don't you guys go and bring Jonathan back? Because that seems to be a bit of a dousing of the tension for the people. The point I'm making really is that Nigerians, stop allowing this recycled element to bamboozle us. We can come and decide who we want to lead us. But let us be sure that we are going to be giving him enough reps. We're going to be giving him enough Senate. We're going to be giving him enough governors. Because ultimately, the democratic system that we run, the American style, does not imagine that there's one messiah that will sit in the presidency and then become a jack of all trades. And hey, if I took on the burden of what should have been a national orientation responsibility, if you cannot tell me thank you, I can thank myself. Laws, do we think is a good material? Losing an election is no big deal. Standing for what is right is better. I am very, very disappointed that Peter has even allowed himself to be even put in that kind of group. Peter was the man that we were all prepared to line behind. If victory is for him, we'll take the victory. If losses for him, we'll take the losses. But look at him. running up and down with people that we know that he himself knows that are not even good people. Can he even survive a primaries in that place where they are going to carry money and just use money to destabilize everything? Is money the only thing? Those who said, I have the judiciary in my pocket, I have the party chairman in my pocket, I have money in my bag, I have a legislator in my bag, they have not been president even till today.
You understand? Since Sowunmi visit President Tinubu, when Tinubu promise am one or two things, when Tinubu give am one or two carrots when he chop, he does the talk from two sides of his mouth. Listen to am, see how he dey underrate Atiku, see how he dey blast Atiku from back, left and center. Ah, na wow.